Hello, Lex GPT. Are you there? I need backup. Nova's school project is due soon, and she needs to build a bubble pop game in Scratch.
Greetings, Pixel. Challenge accepted. I'm always ready to help young minds create brilliance. Sending coordinates now.
Nova, it's time for an inter-universe mission. You're heading to the Lex GPT world.
Wow, Lex GPT School is incredible! I can't wait to learn how to build my Bubble Pop game.
Welcome to Lex GPT School, Nova. Here, you'll master Scratch step by step. Ready for your first lesson on popping bubbles the smart way?
Absolutely! Let's get started and make some bubble magic. Hold on. Before we jump in, try solving this one.
First, we want to make sure the game resets properly each time it starts. So we'll use this block. When green flag clicked,
Oh, that's like pressing the start button, right? To begin the game fresh.
next, we don't want the original bubble sprite visible, only the clones popping around, so we hide the main sprite using this colon. Hide.
Wait, why hide the main bubble?
Good question. The main bubble is like a bubble factory. It creates copies called clones that actually float and pop, so we hide the factory itself.
Got it. Factory hidden, bubbles flying.
Now here's a very important part. We want bubbles to keep appearing, so we use a loop that runs forever. Forever. Create clone of myself. Wait 1 second.
That one's easy. It's like bubbles keep coming out every second, forever and ever.
Perfect! This loop makes the game exciting and never ending. Bubbles keep showing up for you to pop. Alright, Nova. Now we're going to tell each bubble clone how to behave when it appears. First, drag in the when I start as a clone block.
Got it. This will run every time a new bubble is created, right?
Exactly. Now add the go to X, pick random minus 200 to 200, Y minus 180 block just below it.
So this makes each bubble start at the bottom, but randomly left or right.
You got it! That randomness makes the game feel more alive, like bubbles popping up all over the place.
Fun! What's next?
Now add switch costume 2, pick random 1 to 3. This lets each bubble pick a random costume before it appears, kind of like picking a party hat.
Bubbles getting dressed up? Love it. Adding the block now.
Perfect! Now place a show block. That tells the bubble, you're ready, go on stage.
Done! So now our bubbles appear at the bottom, wear random costumes, and show up. What about floating up?
For that, drag in a repeat until 180 greater than block. This loop keeps running until the bubble floats to the top of the screen.
Loop ready. Time to make it rise.
Inside that loop, add change Y by 3 so it floats upward little by little.
Got it. Slow and steady bubble rise.
And to smooth it out, add wait 0.05 seconds after each movement. That gives it a nice floaty feeling.
Done! Our bubbles are now rising like real ones.
Alright, Nova, now it's time for the fun part, popping the bubbles and scoring points.
Yes, this is what I've been waiting for.
Start by adding the when this sprite clicked block. That tells the bubble, if someone clicks on you, it's time to pop.
Like a little burst party every time we tap a bubble.
Exactly! Now let's give the player a reward. Create a variable named score. Add the block change score by 1 underneath.
Sweet. That means every time I pop a bubble, my score goes up by 1.
You got it! Now to remove the bubble after it's popped, use delete this clone at the bottom.
Bye-bye, bubble. 1 pop. 1 point.
Perfect! This makes the game satisfying. Pop a bubble, score a point, and the screen stays clear.
So now we've got bubbles that rise, pop, and score. This is really coming together.
Yes, one last tip. We'll also need to make sure the score shows up on screen, but we can do that using the score variable display from the stage.
Ooh, I already checked the box to show the score. It's working.
Now Nova, let's give our game some spark. How about adding a sound effect when a bubble pops?
Yes, please. It'll feel so good to hear a little pop each time.
Perfect. First, click on the Sounds tab and choose a fun popping sound, maybe something like pop or bubble burst.
Ooh, this one sounds super poppy. I'm adding it.
Now go back to the code and place a Start Sound Pop block right above Delete This Clone under the When This Sprite Clicked block.
Got it. So now it pops with a sound and disappears. So satisfying. But wait, it looks like the bubble is getting stuck at the top.
No worries, Nova, we can fix that. Let's add a Delete This Clone block right here to make sure it disappears once it reaches the top.
All right, Nova, now here's a challenge. What if a bubble reaches the top and no one pops it? We can make the game end after a few misses.
Like a time limit, but based on missed bubbles. I like it.
Exactly. Let's start by creating a new variable called missed. This will count how many bubbles escape.
Okay, new variable, missed, done.
Now go back to the Clones Rising code. After the repeat until you greater than 180 loop, add these blocks. Change missed by 1. Delete this clone.
So if the bubble floats all the way to the top without being clicked, we add one to missed and remove it. Makes sense.
Now for the game over moment, add a check right after the change missed by 1 block. Use an if 5 is greater than then block.
Ooh, so the game ends after missing more than 5 bubbles.
Exactly. Inside that if block, you can stop the game using stop all, and even broadcast a message to show a game over screen if you like.
I love it. This makes the game feel real, like a challenge with a goal.
And that's what makes good games great, Nova. Fun, feedback, and a little bit of challenge.
Lex GPT, I just clicked the green flag again, but my score and missed count didn't reset. It's still showing the numbers from the last game.
Good observation, Nova. That's a classic Scratch mistake. The green flag starts the game, but if we don't tell the variables to reset, they keep the old values.
So we need to reset them before each game starts?
Exactly. Let's fix that. At the very beginning of your code, right under when green flag clicked, add a colon, set score to 0, set missed to 0.
Done. Now both score and missed will start fresh every time I click the flag.
Perfect! Now your game resets properly, just like any professional game would.
And that's it. Our Bubble Pop game is complete, with floating bubbles, pop sounds, scoring, and even a game over.
You've learned how to use clones, random positions, costumes, sound effects, variables, and game logic. That's some serious Scratch power.
Thanks, Lex GPT. You're the best coding teacher from any universe.
Anytime, Nova, and remember, every great game starts with just one idea and a few Scratch blocks.
If you liked this, give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more Scratch adventures. See you in the next universe.